The gun that he was killing women with was in my name.
Why didn't he kill you? Why do you think he didn't kill you?
The strange thing that he did was he would steal their shoes. In the transcript, I read that he was seeing prostitutes 4 to 5 times a week. While he was out raping, I was volunteering at the Rape Crisis Center.
My wife's saying that it's a very powerful book, that she can relate to the book as well as a black woman and also as a woman.
Even before I wrote this book, 30 years earlier, I was writing poetry that kind of reflected some of the things that I was going through, not knowing the implications behind them. And, you know, a lot of the pain that I was going through, I didn't understand it. I knew there was something not normal about my life and my marriage, but I couldn't put my finger on it. But all I knew was that women, in my heart, I could feel that women all around me were suffering. And I couldn't, you know, put a context to it. And so I used to write poetry, and I threw dishes. If you read the book, there's a chapter called Fine China. I actually used to get so congested with the angst and the anxiety that I would throw dishes to relieve myself. That's after my daughter had gone to bed. And then I would write poetry so that I could capture some of those feelings and examine them later. So I'm going to read some of those early poems. My husband used to go out a lot. He cheated, you know, and I won't say that all men cheat, but he cheated. I could never catch him in the act. Well, there was one time I caught him in the act in my own house. But even before I caught him, I was writing poetry, and I wrote this poem called Man Sharing. I stare at you when I see you with another woman, giving her the attention which just days ago belonged to me. I go crazy inside, nutty from head to toe, but I don't let you see the hurting madness inside my eyes or feel the gnashing power behind them slap your face. Instead, I go home and I cry. I cry for biting my tongue damn near off to keep silent. I cry for double-crossing my heart every other Friday. And I cry for granting you freedom denied me and others like me who wish to know at any cost your love. In general, it doesn't apply to all men, but this is how I was feeling this day. The title of the poem, and it's in the book, Men Lie, Their Tongues Swell, making it impossible for them to swallow the truth. Song. All night long, blues my song. Man done me wrong, now he's gone. But in the morning when the sun does shine, I'll fancy the sparkle of another's eyes. And if he acts a fool and don't treat me right, best believe it'll be another blues song night. And I had a lot of blue moments in my life. And Alice Walker had the color purple, I had the color blue. The hour indigo. Yesterday's sweet rapture seems oh so far away, 'cause here comes another indigo spirit, awaiting for its day. I struggle with this indigo, shaken and yet unfreed, 'cause my indigo spirit dwells so deep in me. Sneaking, finding comfort in another man's arm, wanting that stuff which means so much, but homeboy denies. Feel so good before the lies, the midnight goodbyes, but the more I sneak, the less I cry. Oh, this one was for the Rasta man. I used to look at the Rasta man. I was like, I bet they're good men, so I wrote a poem for them. Once I was afraid of the Rasta man, his dread, his ganji, his drag. But once I was loved by the Rasta man, afraid no more. That's one of my favorites. Oh, this is for the sisters. It's called The Sisterhood is Alive and Well. And that's really a theme in my life now, with having strong women and supportive women in my life. We have learned to passionately embrace and love the causes, which means our survival and our daughter's survival. We have learned to pound with clenched fists on knocked doors. We're gentle. I felt like I was out of sync with my husband. He would go out every night after a while with a gun and an overcoat. even in the winter, in the summer, he would go out with the overcoat and the gun in his pocket. And I really didn't understand it. And I just felt like we were out of sync. We were not, moving to the same drummer. So I wrote this poem called Sync, and I submitted it to Essence, and they gave me $25 for it. It's all good. This is synchronization. I told him was a basic necessity that would keep us in stride together. He agreed. And for many years, we enjoyed the fruits of perfect timing. Then one day I noticed he was moving faster than I did. I actually had to testify against William at his trial because the gun that he was killing women with was in my name. And so the prosecution wanted to establish the custody of the gun. And as it were, back in the 80s when they had the drug wars and all that, he convinced me that we needed more than one gun. And so you could only have one gun in your name at a time. So the second gun was in my name. He was killing women with this gun, and I had to come and face him and testify that I did not have custody. As it were, when we separated in October of '88, I went to the police department and signed an affidavit saying I did not have the gun. He wouldn't give it to me, but in my spirit, I just felt like I needed to do that to protect myself, and thank God I did. So I had to testify against him, and then I went to the closing arguments, first the prosecution and then the defense. And I actually got a chance to see what he had did to these women. And, I thought, I'm not going to look. But I really needed to look because there was my education. There was my proof that I wasn't just living a nightmare for no reason. There was the proof that I was living with a monster and had managed to navigate around him enough not to get myself killed. And so I had to look, and it was horrible. But the strange thing that he did was he would steal their shoes. And I didn't think about it then, but he used to always buy me shoes. I mean, shoes that I did not want, boots that would come up to here, or boots with high heels. And I'm like, I'm not wearing those. But what he was trying to do was make me a de facto prostitute. So, if he couldn't get satisfied in the street and he would come home, he would want me to, if not act the part, look the part. And so he wanted me to wear the red lipstick as soon as I got out of bed, or when the acrylic nails came, he took me every 2 weeks to get my nails done. And it came a point where I guess he was escalating with they call it, what do they call it? Paraphilia. You guys ever heard that term, paraphilia? Mm-hmm. His paraphilia was that he could only get satisfied if the other person was being tormented or tortured. And I read in the trial transcript where I couldn't do that for him because I was not going to go out like that. And so he started escalating, and while he was out raping, I was volunteering at the Rape Crisis Center. We were just like leading opposite lives. You remember when I did the volunteer work, and we were like leading opposite lives. And he hated it when I did the volunteer work, and I could not understand that for the life of me. I'm like, I'm helping. He said, they don't deserve your help. And at the time I didn't put too much on it. I thought maybe he was just jealous because I was, giving some of my time, but that was not the truth. There were so many precursors that, let me tell you guys about this lady from Australia read the book, and she wrote a review in Amazon. Did you get to read it?
No.
Well, anyway, she read a review, and she said this, she said that I talk from my heart, and she didn't really know anything about the place and the time, but she sympathized with what I went through. And then at the end, she said, this woman has to really be in denial or blissfully ignorant. And, most people would think that that's a really harsh criticism, but it's true. Even in the book, I said I was in denial because I was seeing things, he was seeing prostitutes. I'd get gonorrhea, and I'm like, where did I get this from? He's like, the toilet. Are you serious? The toilet? And so he would go out at night, and I would notice that, but it got to the point where I was comfortable with him leaving because his presence suffocated me. And I wanted, when he went out, I was glad he was gone. And it just got to the point, maybe the last 2 years of our marriage, we slept in different rooms. And I was wondering why that worked for him. Well, I thought it worked because I would wash the clothes, I would cook and bring him breakfast in bed, I would clean the house. And so I call myself offering him my service in another way other than sexual, thinking, oh, it's all good. You know, he's getting the food and everything, and I'm being his slave, so that's compensating. But in the transcript, I read that he was seeing prostitutes 4 to 5 times a week. We started seeing each other in 1972. We married in 1978. We separated in October of 88. So that's a long time to be with somebody and not really know who they are. So that just tells you how skilled he was at hiding what he was doing and how determined he was to keep doing it and not get caught. So we suspect that he was raping for a long time because he used to be a long-distance truck driver. And since CODIS is just still catching up on all the cold cases with the DNA logging, the prosecutors suspect that there's going to be other victims that are going to be found, because he was all up and down the United States. And I'm not going to say that I wasn't in denial. There were a lot of things that told me I should have left, but I didn't.
I didn't read the book, but I got to read it now. But did he beat you too, or what? I don't know.
We got into it, yeah.
Okay.
And I put.
So one question I have is, why didn't he kill you? Why do you think he didn't kill you?
I think he loved me. I think that's why he didn't kill me. I really think, in a sick way, he loved me. And I mean, and he was able to tell me that when I went to see him in Santa Rita, and he said, I don't understand why you left me.
That's what got me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
I know.
what?
Are you serious? And he don't understand why I left you. That was his biggest thing. He still doesn't understand why I left him. But yeah, there was that sometimes.
Did you ever think he would kill you?
Yes. That time when he drugged me all over the house and I started cooking grits. After Al Green got scalded by grits, I figured it's good. I'm going to cook some grits. He's going to get a grit jacket with some butter on it. And so that time when he drugged me around, me and my daughter, we planned to leave him. We planned together. She was only 11 years old. We were planning to leave him very quietly. So after he drugged me around and was screaming and ranting, I'm the man of the house, I wear the pants. That was that emasculation coming out. I was his mom. When he was dragging me, he was dragging his mom. And so the next day I put the house up for sale. And it sold in a day, and we were gone in a month. I'm still scared. I mean, I look at people, at men, and I think, you know, is what I see all that's there, or is there something else I need to be concerned about? So it's going to take a while. I'm only 58, so. That's all. That's all. Age is relative, right?
My father says the older the violin, the sweeter the music.
Thank you guys for coming. I really, this was great.
Can I just say something for people who haven't read the book yet? I just wanted to say the way that she tells the story, you can tell she's done so much processing for herself, and she's giving the facts. She's like, this is what happened, this is my life, this is what it is. Come with me, let me show you. So I think that's so inspiring.
And we hug at least 5 times a day. It's true. We were walking down the hall. And the kids get hugs too.
Now I know what's going on.
But it keeps us going.
Yeah.
We work at a rough school. It
Oh,
keeps us
yeah.
going.
You guys know about Ralph Bunch, right? Ralph, yeah. We're in the thick of it in West Oakland. And thank you, Marcus Bookstore.